Hello and welcome to Mind Shifters Radio. I'm Tim Hayes. I'm your host for the first hour. And today is Tuesday, May 4th, 2021. As always, we're grateful to everyone who's joining us here today, whether you're listening live or listening through the archives, as we spend another couple of hours teaching and supporting people in using some of the most powerful, effective, efficient, accessible tools I've ever encountered in my 46 plus years of doing therapy. These tools are gratefully available absolutely free at whyagain.org. If you go to that website and click on the red and white bullseye or the link in the upper left-hand corner of most pages that says Start Here, it will take you to a page where you can download and read Chapter 24 of Dr. Michael Rice's book. His book is titled, Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And that particular chapter of the book contains a narrative description of the primary tool in this work. That tool is called the Reality Management Worksheet, sometimes called the Reality Management Wake-Up Sheet, and it's a tool I've been using to great effectiveness for over 16 years to improve the quality of my life, manage my emotions and relationships, and turn any negative emotional state into part of that infallible guidance system that we've all been gifted with. You can also download the actual worksheet itself absolutely free. It's a simple PDF file. Click on it, download it, print it off as often as you'd like. You can also download a whole host of audio files of shows just like this one where people have been stepped through the use of that tool, or they've called in to talk about some of the powerful benefits of applying that tool in their life, or they're calling in and talking about, asking questions about some of the more deeper understandings of how and why a tool that's that simple can have such a powerful, beneficial impact in one's life. You can also go to your App Store and type in the three words Heartland Aramaic Forgiveness, either on Google Play or the Apple App Store. Heartland, H-E-A-R-T-L-A-N-D, all one word. Aramaic, A-R-A-M-A-I-C. And the word forgiveness. And if you start typing the word forgiveness after those two words, before you're done, you will see the glowing heart icon. And you can download a completely free and private app that gives you access to the Reality Management Worksheet, an abbreviated version of that worksheet, and a copy of the Dragon Klingon game, which is a wonderful way to introduce these tools to even younger audiences. We encourage people to do that soon and often, because it will most likely raise questions that we can help you answer. And if you're willing to call and share those questions with us, it benefits everyone. Every question that's asked by anyone, no matter how advanced or how much of a beginner they are in this work, benefits all of us as we consider these answers. And we get stimulated in our own process to learn whatever it is we need to learn to take ourselves to the next level. There's also a host of tools on that website, including a 24.5-minute PowerPoint presentation created by Bill Cosentino in conjunction with Dr. Michael Rice that does a deep dive into the mechanics of the Reality Management Worksheet and why and how it works as effectively as it does. And that's another absolute free tool that you can view over and over again. And each time you do, your understanding will go a little deeper and get a little richer. And so we encourage people to do that, explore that website. If you have questions, you can email Jeannie at jeanie@yagain.org. And or you can email me directly at tjh@mindshifters-academy.org. We've also been doing the Course in Miracles workbook lessons this year. Today is the 124th day of the year. Today's lesson reads, Let me remember I am one with love. I am one with the Creator. I am one with God. The commentary for today's lesson reads, Today we will again give thanks for our identity in love, in the creation, in God. Our home is safe. Protection is guaranteed in all we do. power and strength available to us in all our undertakings. We can fail in nothing. Everything we touch takes on a shining light that blesses and that heals. At one with love and with the universe, we go our way rejoicing with the thought that love itself goes everywhere with us. How holy are our minds! And everything we see reflects the holiness within the mind, at one with love and with itself. How easily do errors disappear and death give place to everlasting life. Our shining footprints point the way to truth, for God, love, creation is our companion as we walk the world a little while. And those who come to follow us will recognize the way because the light we carry stays behind and yet still remains with us as we walk on. What we receive is our eternal gift to those who follow after and to those who went before or stayed with us a while. And love, who loves us with equal love in which we were created, smiles on us and offers us the happiness that we give to others. Today we will not doubt creation's love for us, nor question its protection and its care. No meaningless anxieties can come between our faith and our awareness in its presence. We are one with creation today in recognition and remembrance. We feel creation in our hearts, our minds contain its thoughts, and our eyes behold its loveliness in all we look upon. Today we see only the loving and the lovable. We see it in appearances of pain, and pain gives way to peace. We see it in the frantic, in the sad and the distressed, the lonely and afraid, who are restored to tranquility and peace of mind in which they were created. And we see it in the dying and the dead as well, restoring them to life. All this we see because we saw it first within ourselves. No miracle can ever be denied to those who know that they are one with love. No thought of theirs but has the power to heal all forms of suffering in anyone in times gone by and times yet to come, as easily as in the ones who walk beside them now. Their thoughts are timeless and apart from distance as apart from time. We join in this awareness as we say that we are one with creation, one with love. For in these words we say as well that we are saved and healed, and that we can save and heal accordingly. Peace be to you today. Your benefit will not be less if you believe nothing happens. You may not be ready to accept the gain today, yet sometime, somewhere it will come to you. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you will see your own transfiguration in the glass this holy half an hour will hold out to you to look upon yourself. When you are ready, you will find it there. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you will look into the glass and understand the sinless light you see belongs to you. The loveliness you look on is your own. Count this half hour as your gift to creation, in certainty that its return will be a sense of love you cannot understand, a joy too deep for you to comprehend, a sight too holy for your body's eyes to see, and yet you can be sure someday, perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you will understand and comprehend and see. Add further jewels to the golden frame that holds the mirror offered to you today by hourly repeating to yourself, let me remember, I am one with love, at one with all my brothers and myself in everlasting holiness and peace. And from the Course in Miracles experiment book, by Pam Grout. Lesson 124 is titled, Joy Too Deep to Comprehend. She quotes Maya Angelou as saying, God is my boo. Pam writes, my eyes are remarkable as they are, can only see 1% of the visible light spectrum. To be specific, human eyeballs only perceive wavelengths between 10 to the minus 4 and 10 to the minus 6 of the electromagnetic spectrum. Radio waves, infrared waves, X-rays, terahertz waves, for example, are beyond my eye's capabilities. So for me to think that I see, in quotes, reality, close quotes, with my wavelength-challenged eyeballs is actually ridiculous. Lesson 124, which says, let me remember that I am one with love, encourages me to experience the world from a higher, largely invisible frequency. This frequency, the underlying foundation of who I am, literally changes energy fields. As I learn to see only the loving and lovable, everything I touch is blessed and healed. Today I celebrate that I am safe and protected and can fail at nothing. I celebrate that my anxieties are meaningless and that power and strength will prevail in all my undertakings. I find, as this lesson promises, a joy too deep to comprehend. So that's our lesson for today and our reading from the Pam Grout book. And aside from pausing for a couple sneezes, we're back and ready for discussion. We have 46 minutes left. Our call-in number is 563-999-3581. And if you call that number and press 1, we can have a conversation. What's on your mind, or what's a topic that would make this hour more useful to you? Today's a Tuesday, which means we'll have a support group available tonight. As long as you have internet access, you can join us absolutely free, and the information to join us from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Central Time is available at mindshiftersacademy.org. And I like to remind people that there's separate login information for Tuesday and Thursday groups. We have had people that have tried to log in on the wrong day or with the wrong day's information on the right day. So if you care to join us, please do. If you know somebody that might benefit from free access to another hour of community discussion with this kind of material and interplay of ideas, or perhaps help in being guided through a reality management worksheet, pass the information along to them. It's mindshiftersacademy.org. And the login information to join us absolutely free is available there. The time for the group is 6:30 to 9 p.m. Central. So I don't remember what the prompt was, but sometime yesterday I was triggered to think about a discussion I had with JM, John Mark Hammer, who channeled The Way of Mastery. And that delightful exchange happened about a year and a half ago, when I had reached out to him as a potential interview for Mind Shifters Radio. And I was, I had the foresight to do it through Zoom so it could be recorded. So I have access to that recording. And it's my introduction to JM and his introduction to me and discussion about what he calls the Christ mind path, and the incredible work that's being done by a friend of John Mark Hammer's, of JM's, to create the website at christmind.info, I-N-F-O. And if you don't know about that resource, I encourage you to look into it. If you go to Christ Mind, all one word, christmind.info. I'm typing it in as I do this so I can do a review of everything that's there. You'll find a very simple page that says, "This is the teachings of Christ Mind, the library." And what's in that library are Course in Miracles Original Edition, The Way of Mastery, A Course of Love, the Raj material, which is a collection of recordings of someone who was channeling a higher consciousness as he or she hosted Course in Miracles support group, The Way of Mastery in Polish, Course in Miracles Sparkly Edition, the book The Impersonal Life by Joseph S. Benner, and the book Choose Only Love, a message from a choir of angels. So it's a wonderful free resource that has these books in text that you can read, and some of them actually has voice recordings. And I believe JM has made the original files of the audio of the channeling of The Way of Mastery available for that website. And projects like that begin because somebody gets an inkling, an urge, and then reaches out to JM and says, "Hey, I was moved to do this." And JM said, when I was having a discussion with him about this, he said, "And I just usually tell people, okay, if you're moved to do it, go do it." And when JM has the bandwidth or the energy to assist, he does. If he gets the intuitive hit that that's a good use of his energy, or that's in line with his path. So we might listen to some of that tonight and or Thursday in the support group. Some of just a discussion with the gentleman who channeled The Way of Mastery, and hearing some of the input about the origins of this work and what it was like for him to start getting exposed to that other consciousness that would guide him to write a book like The Way of the Servant and channel The Way of Mastery and the Yeshua letters, etc. And I do that in this work as an adjunct, as a kind of a way to stimulate growth and motivation to continue the application of these very practical tools, because the tools only benefit me when I'm actively using them. And as I actively use them, the benefit, just like the Course in Miracles lesson says today, is inevitable. I may not see it right away. I may not be able to comprehend it in the moment. And yet, my engaging the tools is of benefit and will provide healing or growth or expansion or understanding or whatever's needed to take my work to the next level. And as Michael Rice points out so clearly time and time again, he calls willingness the cosmic grease. I simply need to be willing to use these tools and to apply them persistently and consistently, as Michael says. And so when I run across a teaching like Guy Finley's or J.M.'s or Matt Kahn's, and that has the potential to stimulate somebody to engage the tools or stay with them longer, then we introduce them to the support group. And so that might happen tonight and or Thursday. We might share a little bit each day, but we will be responsive to the needs of whoever tunes into the group tonight and ask what they would like to do. And sometimes there's nothing to be done except worksheets and discussion, and sometimes there's an hour or so of listening and or watching one of the more resonant spiritual teachers. So our call-in number is 563-999-3581, and you can assist us today by letting us know how we can be of service. One of the things I could do is type a hello in the chat room. There's one person there, and there's 8 callers on the screen, so I had to do a little scrambling to get the show up and running today because there wasn't one scheduled. But thank you for being here, Lisa. Thank you for being here, everyone who's on the queue. And if there's something we can do to assist you or a topic you'd like us to explore, please let me know. 563-999-3581. Call that number and press 1. I had another patient in my office today who was in full-blown demonstration of what Dr. Sarno talks about as tension myoneural syndrome. And this is a person who had debilitating physical symptoms, and he had the concern to the level that he ended up in the hospital. And he just went into the emergency room to get checked out, and they were absolutely certain that in order to be safe, they had to run the stress protocol and the stroke protocol and the heart attack protocol and, basically the $1 million physical. And they did. And it ran from like 5 o'clock one evening until about 10 o'clock the next morning, including, CAT scans with and without dye and MRIs and X-rays and sonograms and all of this, ultrasounds, etc. And finally, at the end of all of that, including, specialists, neurologists interviewing him, etc., at the end of all of that, the expert came in and told him, there's nothing unremarkable in any of your tests. You're in good health. Your arteries are open and clear. Your blood work looks good, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And as she told him that, for the first time in over 24 hours, the crippling pain faded away, and he could feel the muscles in his head, neck, jaw, and shoulders fall back into proper alignment. A very clear example of tension myoneural syndrome. Mental, emotional tension being held in the tissues in the body in such a way that they create a spasm of muscles that pinches off blood flow to tissue. And what Dr. Sarno knew and was able to demonstrate is that a very small reduction in blood flow to tissue, which is that which supplies the oxygen to all of our tissue, is enough to initiate excruciating pain. If you cut off the oxygen flow, even reduce it by 10 or 20% for a short period of time, it's enough to initiate excruciating pain. And when there's excruciating pain, when there's muscle spasm, things just don't work right. And instead of having a stroke, instead of having a heart attack, instead of having all these horrible things go on with him, what he had was a very high level of mental, emotional stress that he was trying to just ignore and just work through and just keep doing his daily life and going to work and handling his responsibilities and saying yes to everybody that asked him for help. The end result? Crippling realignment of the musculature in his head and his jaw and his neck and shoulders to the point where medical professionals thought, oh my gosh, he's having a stroke. So I can't emphasize too much. I cannot overemphasize the benefit of doing my emotional work on a regular basis, of aligning myself with the observation that I'm the one who's engaging in a process of thought and or denial and or resonant energy that is creating my experience of life moment to moment. It is not automatically being created by the life events outside me. And even those things that I would, and most anybody would look at it and say, oh, this is abusive and this is traumatic. The impact of those events on me is far more strongly affected by my decision about how to interpret and respond to them than they are by the actual outside event. And once we've been exposed to these kinds of tools and we remain willing to engage them, we can minimize the effect of disruptive and traumatic experiences in our lives, and we can maximize our experience of joy and aliveness and gratitude, and that's what we're here to help people do, soon and often. I was interviewing somebody earlier today who had a very powerful example of that in her life. She had been introduced to these tools. She was using them and engaging in them on a regular basis, and she ended up in a situation where she was subjected to sexual abuse. And it was very upsetting, and she was thinking in terms of ending her life. But rather than do that, she chose to use the tools. She chose to reach out to people who could support her. And it became one of the primary jumping off points for better health and growth in her life, in all areas of her life. And it was an awakening of memories of past abuses and the opportunity then to apply the tools consciously to those events that had happened years before, during which or in response to which she had downloaded a tremendous amount of traumatic energy. And it was just sitting in her system, there to get resonated, activated, reactivated as a memory and as a flashback, because it had never been addressed and healed. It had never been consciously brought to the surface and held there in the presence of love or with the application of tools to dismantle those energies. And so what most people would call tragic and a trauma, she was able to experience it as an invitation to growth and health. And because she was willing to apply the tools and ask for help and accept the help and support, it was a life-transforming experience rather than a tragedy. And that's the kind of thing we're hoping more and more people are willing to do in the engagement of the use of these tools, whether it's, if you're finding these tools through Mind Shifters Radio, or you're tapping into these tools through a Mind Shifter support group, or you're tapping into something from Journey's Dream and that not-for-profit to try and bring tools like this to the wider range of people and rewrite the narrative on mental health. Wherever you find the support you need, to look at whatever your mind is holding that it tells you is too fearful, too painful, too rage-inducing, too intense for you to deal with. If you can face it, if you can bring your awareness to it, and if you can bring your willingness to apply tools like the ones available at whyagain.org, you can be well. And that was one of the phrases that really opened up her journey, was that someone looked her directly in the eye and said, you can be well. There is resolution to this. After, a lifetime of traumas and abuses, someone finally looked at her, instead of saying, wow, you're sick and you need meds and you need to be hospitalized and you're wacko, and someone looked at her and said, you can be well. And that's the message from The Way of Mastery. That's the message from the Course in Miracles. Even today's lesson, that's the message from all of the work with Dr. Michael and Jeannie Rice and the Mind Shifters tools and the Mind Shifter radio show. You can be well. And whatever it takes for you to entertain that possibility and explore it, we would be happy to assist you with. Area code 517, you're in the air. Who do we have?
Hi, Dr. Tim. It's Angie Bruce. Can you hear me?
How in heaven's name could I expect to hear from you today?
Well, I have this lovely day off and am enjoying it, and I thought I'd pop on and say hello and emphasize what you're sharing about and the effectiveness and the quality of life that's possible through employing these tools.
Well, thank you for being willing to chime in. And what is it that's top of mind for you to share in regards to that?
But we talked earlier about it, and the willingness, I think, to emphasize willingness. And I thought about how sometimes I see it in family situations and in my life. A goal that I had to cancel a whole lot was for the people around me who appeared to be healthy and not having as much trouble navigating, were holding themselves in unwillingness. So a goal that I canceled a lot was for them to be willing to do the work. And that was driven out of a sense of ownness. And I think it might be helpful for family members to hear if there is someone in their world struggling or having a hard time, just by my willingness to use the tools. I've witnessed my children change, past relationships, or other people have appeared to change. I know it's very possible they only change in relationship to me, but I've witnessed growth all around me in the lives that I've been connected with in my day-to-day world. So willingness is definitely key and brings such profound.
Well, and as you say, my willingness to just keep doing my work and keep the focus on me, even when my friends or family members or people I would hold a goal for are not doing their work. If I can cancel the goal I have for them, which is going to just tie up energy, my mind energy, focusing on things I don't have any control over. If I can cancel that goal for them, the first thing it does is it frees up more energy for me to focus on things I actually do have control over. The next thing it does, as Michael Rice talks about in this work, is it opens literally like a keyway to the part of my mind that's holding the energy that's actually creating my experience of trauma in the moment. So I have the opportunity to get consciously aware of it, bring the active awareness of love to it, and do healing for myself, even if the other person or people are not willing to do that same process. So the primary benefit is I put less of my energy into creating frustration by focusing on things I have no control over. And the next thing is, when I'm actually willing to cancel that goal, I open this pathway, energetic resonance pathway, to what it is in me that needs the healing, the loving, the acceptance and surrender.
Yeah, and provides, on the other side of that healing, there exists a deeper connection with those in our world anyway. We get access to, what I was getting was access to the deeper connections available to me that I couldn't get to with those hidden goals and storylines, like I need, like, that were keeping them partly responsible, and me stuck in helplessness. So yeah, it's a journey into life, into full life, and I think I've heard Dr. Rice say things like, a near-life experience, and there's so much life and love and connectivity available to us, and a lot of the people I see and around me in the day-to-day aren't aware, or they're interrupting, or there's something that's interfering with their full awareness of that and capacity to tap into that space and live from that and as that.
Well, and it just, I think that so many of us have the training that tells us, here's how to think, here's what to believe, and when it's based in the falsehood, we're trapped until someone comes along and helps us entertain a different set of questions. Right? I cannot break out of my conditioning without awareness that I've been conditioned.
Yeah, that's key. And willing to embrace that wisdom, willingness to embrace that is the key to our empowerment. I was having a conversation the other day, and it sounded something like this person I was communicating with was hearing me at a certain level through the conditioning of the mind that said, this person I got to experience, I felt like this person wanted me to hold a person from my past. There was blame about abuse. There was blame. It was this other person's fault, and I could hear the communication on a certain level, and yet we're all responsible for our actions and behaviors. And what I seen in me that was moving was I was able to communicate this to the person I was in conversation with, like, yes, and I was responsible for engaging in that energy too. I had a receptor site to abuse was a frequency that was available to and through me as well. And if I sit here and continue to blame or make it somebody's fault that happened, then I am giving away my power. That feels really disempowering to me to think about doing that with this experience. If I turn and say inward and say, I have a degree of responsibility over all of my experiences, then I am empowering myself to rewire circuitry, to rewrite past traumas, to unlock the love that's latent in my neural circuitry, and connect and come from and live from that in their innate intelligence, rather than somebody outside of me telling me, giving me a directive of what I should be doing or how to do it correctly according to the out there conditioning. And I'm not sure if I'm communicating it as clearly as I would like to be, but to empower ourselves to know we do get a say over not everything we experience, but
the way we experience everything.
Yes,
right.
And that's
not
yeah.
everything I experience, but the way I experience everything.
That's it. And that was the piece that was like a warm, comforting blanket. When my mom was transitioning, I got to witness myself go in and out of argument with what was. And the pain of arguing and resisting what I was witnessing was that she was leaving. She was, transitioning. Her body died. And I got to see myself choose my thoughts. I could argue with it, and the degree of pain that happened in my physiology was unbearable, and I was so blessed because of using these tools so much, and the community that I've created around myself of others who are using these tools and connected to their wisdom allowed me to see, wow, I'm off in this thought. What am I doing? Well, I'm arguing with what is. How can I reframe this? And I was able to tap into and experience my mom and other loved ones who had transitioned, and the non-physical realms just in full celebration, light, love. There was so much love and celebration that was happening through this experience. It really was like midwifing my mom into her next adventure, and knowing I was still tending that part of me that was a little girl going, oh my God, what am I going to do now? You can't leave. We're just getting started. We've got work to wait. You can't go. And that little girl has, over the last 2 years, really grown up. She's been integrated in wonderful, fascinating ways. I highly, strongly recommend, encourage, and support the use of these tools. And anybody who is able to employ willingness and wants to feel better.
Well, I thank you for that. I'm grateful that you are having such a powerful, positive experience from that, and I appreciate the call. It's always good to have people that are actively engaging the tools who are giving the testimonials, because you never know when somebody might listen to this and might be their first internet show, and you might have opened an energetic pathway for them to be willing to engage something. Because as we talked about, these tools, they are different. That's one of the things. They strike people as bizarre at times. Why would I cancel a perfectly good, loving goal? And why would I keep opening up my painful memories? And the Course in Miracles at one point asks, or tells us that we might well ask why we need to look at the depth of our hatred and our agony, because, it's not fun doing that. And yet, if someone can tell me, you're going to go in this place and they're going to cut your torso open and mess around with your organs, I go, what are you talking about? I wouldn't do that. But if I'm in enough pain, or if somebody's identified a disease process where something needs to be extracted so that I can continue to live, I can see the benefits, and I'll let them do a surgery on me, right? But if I can't see the benefit, if I'm riddled with the pain, one of the more ready examples that several people recently that I'm dealing with have had dentist phobia, to the point where even though they've got significant jaw pain, they're not willing to go visit the dentist, or tooth pain. They're not willing to go. And the pain has to get to a certain, past a certain threshold before they'll even allow this process that they're so fearful of. And yet that's the very process that's likely to bring them relief and healing. So it's the same kind of thing with these tools, right? It's not always, Michael Rice says, it's not always Dr. Feelgood to open up and look at what needs to be seen and keep applying the tools and doing the breath work and doing the journaling or the reality management worksheets, and yet it is the thing that will lead to actual healing.
Yes. And for me, I was so blessed. I'm really thankful that I had an experience that looked to the world like a mental health crisis, that allowed me the insight. I got this perspective of being able to witness my past actions. And so I became aware in that moment of the disintegrative energy. I think I in this moment, I'm getting like an insight about, the light at the end of the tunnel, and all of that darkness. On the other side of it, there's light. That's love. That's truth. We want to bring that forward, so our actions are coming from that place of knowing, not out of past traumas or disintegrated thought forms. And the reason I want to do that is that the implications of acting out of misalignment or out of darkness really does breed more darkness in the world. And we're in a time that it's time for light. It's time for us to reemerge as who we really are. I think if anybody knew, once we know, and that was for me that critical point, the pain was so much, I couldn't do it any other way, and couldn't bear
to just continue the old path.
There was no way possible to continue the old path, and it wasn't it was not an easy. At times there wasn't wasn't like a magic fairy wand that waved and all of a sudden all the darkness was gone. No, it really did take me being willing to allow those energies, like the hatred and the pain and the grief, terror was really a big pivotal when I really got clear on what terror was and how to allow it to open and witnessing. So I was in terror of acting from terror. So you might imagine that was quite a conflict of interest. I held really still for a really long time, afraid to make a move.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Yeah.
It's a very common trap, because when I listen to fear, as Guy Finley says, fear will only tell me what to do so that fear can run my life another day. Fear will never tell me how to escape fear. And whatever my fear tells me to do in terms of an action or a thought or an inaction is only, always, and forever guaranteed to keep me the servant of fear yet another day.
Yeah, that's well said, well written. And, you know, I'm aware that there's still resistance in me that I'm willing to open and look at and let go.
Well, and if you're like most of us, that willingness can ebb and flow from day to day based on your energy reserves and the context of the current stressors in your life. And one of my more frequent admonitions to people is, please be gentle with yourself. Mm-hmm. And understand that, you know, there's Ecclesiastes will tell us there's time for every purpose under heaven. So today may be a time for me to be in resistance and to back away from the intense work and just, you know, soak in a tub or go for a nice walk outdoors or take a nap or connect with somebody that is that I know nourishes me without striving, that we connect with at a level where we can just enjoy being together, and that there'll come another day and another time where I'll have the energy to do more of that deep diving work. And
not to worry, life will give us what we need.
Yeah, and it's okay to be self-wise. It's okay to do things that are in alignment with what is the flow and what energies do you have available for introspection or inner work today. And it's not every day that you're, you know, completely loaded up with all the energy reserves you need to do the deep diving work, to face the things that you have labeled so terrifying within your consciousness. And it is the label that I give things in my consciousness that gives them their power in me. And so I want to be willing to be self-wise in that process.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for re-saying that in a way that's really receivable and clear, on point. Thank you so much. Thanks for all your work.
Well, you're very welcome and deserving, and it's nice to be able to say that you're clearly experiencing new levels of your awareness of your deserving nature, and I appreciate the call and your sharing.
Thank you so much. Take care. I'll talk to you.
All right. Take care. Blessings.
Bye-bye.
So we have 4 minutes left. Our call-in number is 563-999-3581. And we have time for a comment or a question, or we have time to remind people that there's more support available in the Internet support groups, the Mind Shifter support groups. There are 2 of them that run Tuesdays and Thursdays with absolutely free access, 6:30 to 9 p.m. Central Time, and all of the information for how to join us with that is available at mindshiftersacademy.org website. And if you're able to join us, we'd love to have you. And if you know somebody that could benefit from it, we'd be appreciative if you would pass along that information so they could take advantage of it themselves. I'm hoping that in the not-too-distant future, I will be able to announce another way to get access to people that use tools like this and other holistic, integrative and functional medicine tools for spiritual crises or mental health emergencies or whatever you want to call them, challenges, through the Journey's Dream group in conjunction with Mensa Medical. They're going to, hopefully in October, they'll be doing a seminar with keynote speakers and very, very affordable way to participate, or free to participate if you're somebody who has financial restrictions. And so we'll be making more announcements on that in the near future as the details get solidified. That'll be a virtual experience, so you can attend from wherever you have your internet access. And so stay tuned for that. And again, just a reminder that either tonight and or tomorrow or Thursday in the group, one of the options we'll make available to people is a conversation I had with J.M. about a year and a half ago. So that's our show for today. You got another hour coming up. Looks like Jeannie Rice is logged in. And I'll remind us all that we come from love. We're made of this stuff we call love. We actually are love, and everything else is false. Welcome, Jeannie Rice.
Thank you, Dr. Tim. And hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you.